This is what's called the Euphemism Treadmill, which is the sort of thing that you can talk about if you're talking about flowers for Algernon and also Gattaca. It's from an academic article that I don't expect you to read, and I'm just kind of synthesizing and summarizing it for you to give you some historical, social, cultural elements to talk about when you talk about the text. So the euphemism is an expression intended by the speaker to be less offensive, disturbing or troubling to the listener than the word or phrase it replaces. A dysphemism, however, is an expression to make it sound much worse than it is. So a euphemism doesn't talk about the thing directly, and a dysphemism talks about it in quite a graphic way usually. So the phrase euphemism treadmill comes to us from linguist Steven Pinker in his Gresham's Law in Economics, which is a great read, I'm sure. Maybe. This is probably way more detailed than we need, but hey, when you're reading an academic article, this is how it works. So these are the classifications of euphemisms. Terms of foreign origin, so you know derriere instead of but or ass. Abbreviations, SOB for son of a bitch. Abstractions, in, the situation, go, which is a very euphemistic way of talking about things. Like, you know, I have a situation I need to go attend to. And indirections, so speaking of your unmentionables or your behind is very vague. And mispronunciations like fudge, as Mads just said, or plays on abbreviations such as barbecue sauce for bullshit. These are all the words for intelligence, simpleton, idiot, moron, imbecile, feeble-minded, cretin, which I didn't know had to do with intelligence, but I guess it does. Spastic, intellectually impaired, special, intellectually challenged, handicapped, slow, dunce, retarded, dull-minded, backward, half-wit, mentally defective. So what I want us to do is you're going to, on a piece of paper or in your book, look at these words and put them in order of most dysphemistic, so most strong, most offensive, most unpolitically correct, and then all the way down to the most euphemistic, so the most friendly and non-specific and happy sounding. So let's do that. Okay. Now you need pen and paper. I'm going to take you through basically years, so dates, and words. In 1916, on a IQ test, the bottom score meant you were feeble-minded, feeble meaning weak and not strong. So that was like an official term in 1916. All I would write down is the year and the word definite feeble-mindedness, which is something I instantly regret laughing at. But hey, I like the definite in there. In 1923, we had backward and borderline. Probably backward is the one that sounds worse to us now, but at the time borderline was worse for them. Well, not worse, but less intelligent. Then, 1928, this test in particular had some really juicy ones. Morons, imbeciles, and idiots. So it may have also been an insult back then to be called an idiot, but it was also like something that you could get on your test. So just imagine you finished your assessment for a subject and, you know, someone's written idiot on it, and not as like a cheeky thing, but as something that...
A genuine branding.
Yeah. 1937, borderline defective, mentally defective. So you can see it's becoming more positive sounding, but it's still defective. Like there's normal, and then there's not normal. There's defective. You're like a broken down car. You're a, you know, flawed person. There's something wrong with you. All right, so then we're going to take a big jump to 1981, and the lowest is mentally retarded. So you're still thinking like, you know, they're not as blunt as idiot or simpleton, but retarded means like melted kind of in normal language. Like it means that there's something wrong still, but at least it's not defective, which is like something that you might call a car. Then 1986, so you're thinking like this is a year before I was born and people were still being titled mentally retarded at this point. So you're seeing a change over these years, but it's not as fast as you might expect. And then, just to conclude, this is the use of the word retarded in literature, according to Google searches, basically Google Books keeps a track of all the words that are used, and you can see that it wasn't that common, and then it peaks pretty high in 1970, 1975, 1980, 1985, and this is key kind of flowers for Algernon time. And thus concludes the treadmilling.